Great, guys. Boy, that was a very long setup. I'm so sorry about that. But man, I am excited to be connected with you guys today. I'm Dr. Jason Bradley. It is Wednesday, September 9th, and this is Wellness Wednesday with yours truly. I'm pretty excited about today's, I don't know if episode is the right word. Again, we're just kind of recording these podcast recordings and just kind of getting our feet on the ground and understanding the format. But I'm excited about today's Wellness Wednesday, primarily because, and this is how geeky I am, I'm totally geeky. I have a new slide for a presentation. And I get super excited about this stuff because I'm always looking for ways to convey kind of complex ideas in a very simple, graphic, ideally, or just a few words. And I have a presentation. Boy, I'm all tangled up in cords. Let me try that again. I have a presentation tonight on the thyroid. It's one of my favorite topics, of course. And, I personally have suffered from Hashimoto's, thyroiditis, autoimmune disease, thyroid autoimmune disease, and, hypothyroidism and, all the symptoms that go along with that, weight gain, brain fog, just extreme fatigue. I mean, debilitating fatigue, exhaustion, I would even say. And, just all the other kind of incidental symptoms that go with it, from anything from, mood issues, and again, memory, focus, and recall, libido, weight gain, again, the brain fog, migrating pain, migraines themselves. I mean, I've suffered from all of that stuff. And back in 2004, I literally lost the majority of my life. I had to leave practice. My family broke apart, and it was all because I was sick and I wasn't handling it well. I was not treating my root causes. I was looking for a quick solution with a pill, just like I am always advocating that we don't do. I learned my lesson leading up to 2004. I learned the lesson of relying on general medicine for chronic care instead of just acute care. And I also learned the power of functional medicine and digging in and looking at those root causes. So tonight I get to chat about that with, a number of people that have registered for our, webinar that's going on a little bit later today. I think it's 7 p.m. Central. And, I always try to keep my webinars to, roughly 45 minutes to an hour. Reality is I usually talk for 45 minutes to an hour, and then we do about 15 minutes of questions or till people have all their questions answered. My goal is that when folks attend any of my webinars, they leave more empowered. They understand, like I said, complex pathways a little bit more straightforwardly. And today, I want to share this slide with everybody. So here's the problem with sharing this slide. I'm on a few different cameras and I can only share this on one camera. So here's what I'm going to do for you guys that are catching me either on a Facebook live feed or on another type of feed where you can't see the slide that I'm going to share. I'm going to talk about it because we're actually going to be stripping the audio away from this video anyway and just kind of chatting about this, but I'm geeking out about the slide and I just want to share it with you guys. So let me just pull up that screen and see what I can do here. Yeah, perfect. Oh boy, let me try this. Great. Okay, so here we go. Oops, I got to go back to my Zoom. Guys, I swear I will get the mechanics of all of this down. Boy, okay, here we are, perfect. I'm sharing my screen. Great, I want to go here, possibly, and then I want to go here. I don't think my screen is gonna, I gotta stop my share, guys. I'm so sorry. Let me see if I can pull that slide up. Should have had this all prepared. This is what I get for working up to the last minute. It is just not liking this. Here we go. I got it now. I got it. Perfect. Sorry about that. I know this is riveting. Riveting. Let me try this one more time. I promise you I'm going to get it. Let me try the screen share again. I've got it now and I'm sharing. Perfect. There we go. Awesome. Cool. So, all right. So you guys can see my screen for those of you that can. I want to talk about this slide. Ultimately, the title for this Wellness Wednesday is genuinely that there's, there we are. I think I got it. I think everything's balanced now. Perfect. And I guess if you're on a Facebook feed and you want to watch this in real time, you could jump over to the Dr. Jason Bradley page, and hopefully it's sharing right over there. And boy, otherwise, like I said, I'm going to get the technology down. I'm getting better. All right. So what I like about this slide is that people always ask me, I mean, I meet with hundreds and hundreds of people every single year, and we've served thousands of them over the last couple of decades, you know, and really digging in, like I said, since about 2007 when I figured myself out. So for the past, you know, decade and a half, 13 years, 14 years, coming up on 14 years, we've really been digging into very complex chronic illnesses, right? And it seems like a lot of them keep coming back to some basic questions. And one organ that keeps coming up is the thyroid. And the number one question that I get is, or the number one question I get is, hey, I can't lose weight. You know, I do everything I can. I go through, I mean, I'm trying to eat the right food. I'm trying to exercise. And, you know, I hear this from a lot, primarily females, but also men, but I hear, you know, it doesn't matter how much food I eat. It doesn't matter if I eat, you know, no food. It doesn't matter if I eat 500 calories a day or 2,000 calories a day. I'm not losing weight and I don't know what to do. So then, of course, I ask questions, you know, do you go to your doctor? What did your doctor say? All these pieces. And I get, they say my doctor checked everything. First of all, I'm going to let you know right now that your general practitioner, your primary care doctor, your internist that specializes in X, Y, and Z is actually not going to check everything. I want to be very clear about that. And in fact, when doctors say they're checking everything, I need you to say, like, what exactly do you mean? You know, in my presentation tonight, I'm going to be discussing, you know, the proper thyroid testing, and that's just a tiny blip of work that we do with our clients. But nonetheless, I want to talk about this concept as, is my weight gain related to my thyroid, right? So if you can see the slide, what I love about it is in the middle, there's a thyroid, and I think it says SOS. It's behind a little standee right now, so I can't see the screen that I'm looking at. I'm working from memory. But there's a thyroid in the middle that says SOS, help, you know, I need some help. And, you know, so we have a thyroid in the middle. And coming in this direction, there's a lot of what I'm going to call causes, right? Some root causes of thyroid dysfunction. We'll come back to those in just a minute. And then over here, we have arrows coming out of the thyroid that says, hey, it could cause, thyroid dysfunction could cause things like fatigue and weight gain and muscle weakness, depression, anxiety, brain fog, feeling cold, dry skin, brittle nails, hair loss, constipation, GI issues, low libido, sexual dysfunction, irregular menstrual cycles, PMS, high cholesterol, slow metabolism. I mean, the list goes on and on. I actually didn't have enough room on this slide to put all of the symptoms associated with that. And so I chose kind of the hot ones. I'm just going to jump in because Rose, thank you for commenting. I know you can't see my screen. I'm broadcasting this on a few different screens right now, and my one screen that I'm sharing, I believe, is only being shared on my professional webpage, the Dr. Jason Bradley Health Warrior page. So I'm not saying jump over there, but if you want to see the screen in real time, by all means, jump over to that Facebook page. I'm live feeding this over to that Facebook Live. This one that's coming through, Rose, that you're taking a look at, I'm just putting over to the Epic 5 plan community. So again, I have a couple of things going on, and I apologize, but here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to upload the one with the slides again to my private member section, and after I get it edited, I'll put this up on YouTube, at least as a teachable, and I'll probably end up just rerunning through this slide again. But anyway, thanks. And anyway, just want to make sure you guys have access to it. But nonetheless, on the left side of the screen, or the left side of the thyroid, we have all these symptoms. On the right side of the thyroid, however, we have all these causes. And so I want to go to that symptom. You know, somebody said, thousands of people have asked me, is my weight gain, is my weight loss resistant, or any of these other symptoms due to my thyroid? I asked my doctor, and my doctor said my thyroid is fine, right? And that's the first problem that we have. I want to reiterate to you guys that when doctors say the thyroid is fine, unless they've looked at the pre-thyroid hormone, which is the TSH, thyroid stimulating hormone, the total T4, free T4, total T3, free T3, reverse T3, T3 uptake, and the way that your cells are utilizing that thyroid, the way they're expressing themselves through the methylation pathway. Unless your doctor is doing that work, they don't know how your thyroid's functioning. Nothing else is relevant. So if somebody is telling you, well, your TSH is fine, your thyroid must be fine, I want you to know that's a bunch of malarkey. That is somebody that needs to go back to medical school and understand the basics of physiology. I would fire that doctor and find a different doctor, just to be very clear. And again, the first question is the weight gain or any other symptoms due to my thyroid, right? So we can run those labs. We can run all of that proper laboratory testing and understand exactly, is the brain signaling the thyroid and signaling it correctly? Is the thyroid able to make the inactive thyroid hormone, that thyroxine, that T4, right? Is that T4 converting into active T3 in the liver, in the gut, and also in the kidney, so that organ health comes to mind? Is that activated T3 getting into the cells, and are the cells using that T3 to activate and do their job, right? So we can ask those questions if we follow that whole pathway, and then I'm able to answer, hey, it looks like the thyroid is or isn't involved with your symptoms. I will tell you with my patient population, now granted, I'm a thyroid specialist. I've done pretty much nothing but treat thyroid for the last decade and a half, not only with myself, but again, thousands of patients from all around the world. And, I've seen, I think, every combination that you could imagine and every type of, functional thyroid problem that you could ever imagine. And again, I will, be on record saying that ultimately, if we ask a different question or an additional question, we're going to get a lot more valuable data for the doctor to work on with the client, with the patient, right? So ultimately, again, the question is the weight gain, the weight loss resistance, or any of these other symptoms, I read them to you, related to the thyroid. We can assess the thyroid and say the thyroid is or is not properly functioning, and we can know beyond a shadow of a doubt. And certainly if we find out where the thyroid is dysfunctional, I mean, sometimes folks are making plenty of the inactive hormone, but when we look at the active hormone, it's very low. So we can figure out, is that an enzyme conversion issue? What's going on? Like I said, liver health, gut health, where the thyroid is activated. We could take a look at what's going on with that thyroid dysfunction for that particular person to intervene appropriately. But here's the kicker. The other question that we need to ask is not just, is it related to the thyroid? Yes, no. If we go down the yes option in this algorithm that we're creating, so is it related to thyroid? Yes, we've determined that it is. Second question, if it's related to the thyroid, why is the thyroid dysfunctional? That's a massive question. That question alone changes the dynamic of the way the doctor is going to interact with the patient. If we ask that question, why is the thyroid dysfunctional? And we start looking for possibilities of why the thyroid is dysfunctional, we start to find, again, nutrient deficiencies, right? So that's what's on this right half of the thyroid or the left half of the slide. I don't know. It depends on if you're looking at it this way or looking at it from the thyroid point of view. But we have all these causes, right? And nutrient deficiencies is at the top. And the reason I put that at the top is because it's the number one reason that I find a dysfunction with the thyroid. When we talk about T4 and T3 and all these thyroid hormones, those numbers 4, 3, 2, 1, all those numbers associated with the T are related to iodine. So T4 has 4 parts of iodine, T3 has 3 parts of iodine, etc. If you don't have enough iodine in your system, you can't make enough thyroid hormone. It's that simple. So I could give you drugs all day long, levothyroxine, Synthroid, Cytomel, leothyronine, Armour, Westhroid, Natrethroid, antithyroid, glandulars. It doesn't matter what I've given you. It doesn't matter what I've recommended to treat that thyroid problem that we found, right? Ultimately, if we don't fix the nutrient issue, in this example, iodine is one nutrient, we're never going to make enough thyroid hormone, and you're going to be on that drug for the rest of your life, right? But if the doctor asks that question, what could be causing the low thyroid? What could be causing this problem? We start to be able to uncover these. Same thing with the liver, kidneys, GI. The reason I listed those is because we talked about that T4 being inactive, and it needs to go into the liver, into the through the kidneys, through the probiotics in the gut to be activated, to have one of those iodines cleaved off to turn into T3. If we don't have a healthy liver, kidney, or GI, proper amount of probiotic bacteria in the gut, we're not going to be able to activate enough of that T3. So again, neither one of those is a real thyroid problem. One's a nutrient problem. One is a metabolic organ fault problem. I don't know if that's the right word to use there, right? But I mean, think about the number of people that have chronic liver diseases, right? NAFLD, non-alcoholic fatty liver disease, is one of the number one diseases on the rise in America right now. It's due to poor diet and poor lifestyle, and that's it. It's completely preventable. But we're seeing children with non-alcoholic fatty liver disease turning up as young as 9 years old, I believe is what the literature is showing us right now. Same kids showing up with type 2 adult onset diabetes, morbid obesity. I mean, we are literally eating ourselves to death. We see chronic kidney disease like crazy. When we looked at the COVID risks, chronic kidney disease was up there, and it's because so many people suffer from it. We check kidney function. We check all this function with our labs. But ultimately, we find people with that issue. We find, I think 100%, I'm teasing, I would say 90% of the folks that we test, maybe more, have not enough good bacteria in their gut to activate that T3. So again, just basic areas of intervention instead of treating the thyroid. Hey, it's running low. We've determined that your weight gain or all these other symptoms are related to the low functioning thyroid. If we start asking, what's causing low functioning thyroid, we have a very different answer. Same thing, food intolerances and food sensitivities have been shown to lower the effects of thyroid function, including and maybe especially gluten. Just consuming gluten, whether or not you're celiac, lowers thyroid function, lowers adrenal function. Very interesting things going on. We start looking at food chemistry. Leaky gut, environmental toxins. Environmental toxins like pesticides, can go in and manipulate our hormones, can manipulate our neurology. We call those endocrine disruptors and immunological disruptors for a reason. And we're bombarded by environmental toxins every single day. We do environmental toxicity studies with our patients, looking for heavy metal toxicities, glyphosate toxicities, mycotoxin or fungal toxicities. The list goes on, and we find them. And in our patients, really nobody gets better until they're addressed, right? So you need to be working with a doctor that's looking very, very deeply. Stress in and of itself can lower thyroid function. In fact, chronic stress is probably one of the #1 causes of thyroid dysfunction. Prescription drugs and over-the-counter medications lower thyroid dysfunction because, again, they all pass through the liver and therefore taxing the liver. And when the liver gets taxed, it can't do its job to activate the thyroid. And there's more to it than that, but I think that you get the idea. Chronic inflammation, anytime that we have unresolved inflammation, we're going to lower thyroid function. Tobacco, alcohol, recreational drugs, autoimmunity, of course, genetics, all of these can have a play with thyroid function. So the question is not so much, is my weight gain related to my thyroid? The chances are, if your doctor bothers to dig deep enough and looks at that full thyroid pathway, takes a look at the pre-thyroid hormones, the thyroid hormones, the conversion, the uptake into the cell, the genetic expression. If we take the time to look at that, we're probably going to find some area that we can tweak a little bit, right? It probably is related to the thyroid. Do you have a thyroid disease? Probably not, right? Thyroid diseases are like thyroid cancers. We got to cut the thyroid out or kill the thyroid. I will go so far as to say, though, and I'm going to talk about this tonight, that autoimmune thyroid problems are not thyroid diseases. They're immunological conditions. And if we address the immune system appropriately, we should be able to reverse the damage and even restore thyroid function. We see this all the time. We see antibodies going from positive to negative on the labs of our patients every single day. I used to think, it was miraculous because it's unheard of in medicine, but we see it all the time. So ultimately, if we want to ask the right question again, is my weight gain or my fatigue, muscle weakness, depression, anxiety, brain fog, feeling cold, low libido, sexual dysfunction, irregular menstrual cycle, PMS, high cholesterol, slow metabolism, I don't know if I said depression, all these symptoms, low blood pressure, all of it, is it related to my thyroid or not? You got to do the right testing to find out, number one. Number two, even after you do the right testing, yes, it is, no, it's not the thyroid. And hey, full disclosure, sometimes we find out that it's not the thyroid. Sometimes we have folks that have previously diagnosed thyroid problems and we run the thyroid and they're looking great there, and it's something else. Maybe it's the adrenals, maybe it's the sex hormones, maybe it's just a gross nutritional deficiency, maybe it's a gross systemic whole body autoimmunity. We find a lot of different things when we start digging and looking at people's root causes. We don't just get focused on, is it your thyroid or not? It's one of the questions. Could the weight or any of these other symptoms be related to thyroid? Yeah, it could be. Is it the thyroid or other organs? We're going to check it out. And if it is, the other question, no matter what we find, no matter what we relate those symptoms back to. So let's just change the words and say, is it the thyroid or is it my PCOS, polycystic ovarian syndrome, right? Is it the thyroid or is it my weight gain due to that, or is it the adrenal dysfunction? It doesn't really matter what we identify it. We have to ask the next question. Okay, so we found that the organ is dysfunctional, in this case, the thyroid. The next step is, why is the thyroid or whatever organ, why is it dysfunctional? What's going on? Does the patient have the right vitamins, minerals, hydration, proteins, fats, fiber to keep things working in the body? Are the organs working the way that they want? The liver, the kidneys, the GI, do you have enough probiotics? Are you eating the right foods for your system? Or are you eating foods that are making you sick? Is your gut integrity such that you're not leaking toxins into the blood, causing aberrant reactions from your immune system that might be affecting thyroid function? Have you been exposed to heavy metals or other environmental toxins that are downregulating or lowering your thyroid function or the function of your other organs? Are you under chronic stress? Hey, it's America. We're all overworked, underpaid, overtaxed. and underslept, right? I mean, that's just the reality. We're all stressed. And we have to learn proper stress management techniques. It's one of the reasons that one of our online modules that we start with every new client is stress management. And we have a workshop on stress management. And we talk about stress management all the time with our clients because it's probably the number one cause of illness. Again, prescription medications, every single drug or over-the-counter drug that you take, 100% of them require certain nutrients to work and do their job, right? One of the most famous is, with Lipitor as an example. Lipitor cholesterol medication absolutely requires to work in your body a chemical called CoQ10. You've probably heard of CoQ10 as a supplement before. CoQ10 is stored in muscle tissue. And if your body doesn't have enough of the CoQ10, it will start breaking down muscle tissue looking for CoQ10 for that drug to work. That's why when we prescribe drugs like Lipitor, we tell the patient, hey, if you have muscle pain and weakness, you need to let us know. Oh, by the way, it'll probably come on 3 to 5 years later. So remember, I told you this now. 3 to 5 years from now, if you've been on cholesterol medication forever and you're tired and you're weak and your muscles are sore, it's probably the drug. And it probably is, but we don't remember those things because you've been on it for 3 to 5 years and it's been okay, right? So again, why don't they prescribe CoQ10 with that drug? I don't know. That's a good question. I had that question asked me in the medical school when I was lecturing, and my answer was, I would talk to pharmacology about that. I think a smart doctor, an informed doctor, would know what nutrients are required for the drugs that people are taking. And no matter what, we need to prescribe those supplements as well. Chronic inflammation, again, the job of the doctor is to figure out so we find out that you have chronic inflammation, it's affecting the thyroid. Next question, why does the person have chronic inflammation, right? That's the next question. We should always be asking why. Tobacco, alcohol, illicit drugs, I think we know that those are bad for us. I don't think we need to have an after school special on that. Autoimmunity, again, I'm going to be talking about that a lot tonight. It used to be a death sentence. You're diagnosed with autoimmunity. There's nothing we can do, and eventually it's going to wreck your body. Same thing with genetics. You were cursed with the genes for fill in the blank, low thyroid, autoimmunity, high cholesterol, obesity, hypertension, right? We hear this all the time. There's nothing you can do about it. That's a bunch of bunk. We can, with autoimmunity, identify the noxious agents that are in the body and remove those from the body. And we can also identify what's missing from the body to regulate the immune system. I come back to iodine again. We talked about that iodine as a nutrient deficiency, so we can't, build the thyroid hormone. Well, iodine is also necessary to regulate the immune system. My very good friend, Dr. Mahmoud Bilal, has been publishing on that right and left in the endocrinology journals and the immunology journals about iodine regulating the immune system. Genetics, we used to think you're cursed, but now we know that we can really basically control the genes with epigenetics. What we put in our bodies, what we do with our bodies will turn certain genes on and turn certain genes off. If you put junk in your body, junk food, junk liquids, and treat your body like it's junk, you're going to get junk genetic expression. If you put healthy foods and exercise and do stress management and keep yourself hydrated and have a good sleep, wake pattern, a good clock that you're following, a good schedule, you're going to have better genes expressed, right? We call that genetic expression. We can manipulate all of those causes, right? So the thing that I come back to, the big take home is your weight gain or your weight loss resistance may in fact be due to a low functioning thyroid. I have no doubt that probably it is. And if you run the right testing, we're going to be able, no matter what your doctor said otherwise, your TSH is normal, T4 is normal, thyroid is normal. That's a bunch of bunk. We need to look at the whole pathway. We're probably going to find an area that we can upregulate or improve. But the next question is the more important question. Why is the thyroid dysfunctional? And if your doctor is not asking that question, if your doctor is saying, look at me, I'm a genius, I figured out that you have hypothyroidism, here's your levothyroxine, I'll check your TSH in 3 months or 1 month or 6 months or whenever they want to do it, right? And hallelujah, the TSH is normal now, so therefore you're fixed. And then you say, but doctor, I still feel like crud. I haven't lost any weight. I don't have any energy. My depression is still where it was. I don't want to have sex. I'm weak and sore. I can't think straight. The list goes on and on. So the doctor gets the magic words to say, you know what? I think maybe this is just depression. And so here's your, Zoloft, Wellbutrin, Paxil, Prozac, Effexor, fill in the blank drug of the week that the rep just barked in his ear about, so that we can prescribe those psychiatric drugs, so that then you feel like you're crazy for feeling all these symptoms. Usually the drugs don't end the depression, by the way. Usually they just make us so apathetic that we don't care anymore. So we're still suffering with all those symptoms. but we don't care anymore, right? I think better doctoring is, okay, we have these symptoms, the body is talking to us. Let's go back and assess the organ systems and find out what organs need support, whether it's the thyroid, the adrenals, the ovaries, the testicles, the brain, the heart, the liver, the gut. It doesn't matter what it is. Let's support those organs. And then let's ask another question. Why does that organ need support? And then there's our list right there, guys. And that's what your doctor should be doing. We have all the tools, we have all the technology, all of the resources to be able to get to your root causes of your dysfunction. So I'm going to stop sharing now. And again, for those of you that got to see that beautiful slide, you know that I'm just geeking out, and I'm excited about it. I geek out about things like slides. But I think that slide was important because it showed, hey, here's a bunch of stuff that can cause thyroid dysfunction, and then thyroid dysfunction can cause all these symptoms, right? And we need the doctors going past the thyroid. We need your doctors asking why. What can we do to intervene? What can we do to fully resolve this for this particular patient? And every single patient is going to have their own unique needs, right? So that we can't just put everybody with hypothyroidism or everybody with autoimmunity into a box and say, everybody is treated this way, right? We have to go back and assess their own unique biological needs. And anyway, that's my slide. I'm going to be covering that and a lot more tonight at 7 p.m. Somehow that took 40 minutes, and that's supposed to be like a 2-minute slide, right? So we'll see how my 45-minute to 60-minute talk goes tonight. But I'll drop in the comments the link if you guys want to join. That would be great. Share the link if you would. Share this video if you would. Let people tag your friends in the comments below and say, hey, watch this video if you feel like this was helpful. I hope that this was helpful. I got off to a really weak start there, and I wish that I could edit Facebook Live, but I can't. So at any rate, you guys got to see me bumbling a little bit. I think we got into the meat of the discussion. Tag your friends, share this video, share the link that I'm going to drop in the comments. Let's see how many lives that we can change together. Let's see how many positive effects that we can have on this world. I, of course, thank you for your help and your time and your effort. I truly believe that if we work together, we can keep this best self movement growing. We can really open the eyes of the general public. We can really let people know that they do not need to suffer. They do not need to be taking medications for the rest of their life, almost 80–90% of the time. And we can intervene. We can identify what's going on, and we can resolve the problems, and we can restore function. That's the take home. I love you guys. I'll see you next week. Take care. Bye-bye.